ladies and gentlemen, and I'm pleased to be here today to acknowledge the donation by the United States government of just over 150,000 doses of the Moderna COVID vaccine. First and foremost, I want to I want to thank President Biden for making this important vaccine available to us through the COVAX program. It is, I understand, a part of the 80 million doses of the United States has donated for distribution worldwide. And the fact that the US is donating these vaccines through the COVAX program means that they will be distributed as equitably as possible, especially to vulnerable developing countries. I want to thank President Biden for this important initiative. He has shown the kind of leadership the world needs and expects from the United States. Full American engagement in the global fight against COVID is more than a great asset in this fight. It is absolutely indispensable. We need this kind of cooperation from the world's developed countries as well as the advanced developing countries that have the capacity to produce vaccines. To Tony and your team from the US Embassy, you have been here with us as we have fought this pandemic, and you know the fight we are engaging. With the help of the US and our friends in Australia and New Zealand, we have everything we need to contain this virus and get back to normal. We have enough vaccine doses for every Fijian, and we are busy getting them in people's hands. Most Fijians are doing their part, but we need more Fijians to step up. I would like to see all Fijians get the jab, and since we are standing here side by side with representative of the United States, I would like to talk a little about what is happening there, because the American experience contains a sobering lesson for us in Fiji. In the US, about 60% of adults have been fully vaccinated and 68% have received one dose. Among people 65 years of age and over, it's much higher. 89% have received one dose and 79% are fully vaccinated. Older people everywhere know that they are particularly vulnerable to this virus. To put it bluntly, they know they could die, and they would rather stay alive. So they don't fuss about what some self-proclaimed expert might post on Facebook. They really can't afford to. Just like in Fiji, some areas of the US have higher vaccination rates, while other areas are experiencing resistance, and their vaccination rates are low. In areas of the US where the vaccination rates are high, life has largely returned to normal. People have been able to remove their masks, open their workplace, go to restaurants and sporting events, and take vacations. But there are some places where vaccination rates are low because people are resisting the vaccine. And in those places, the Delta variant of the virus is spreading with vengeance. Anyone who doubts the effectiveness of these vaccines need only look east across the Pacific and learn from the experience. We have the vaccines, let's use them. The Moderna vaccine has been approved specifically in the US by the WHO for use by pregnant women, which should put some minds at ease. Anyone who has had doubts about the vaccine because you are pregnant or a family member is pregnant should take heart and make arrangements for vaccination. Beginning this week, women who have completed their first trimester of pregnancy will be able to receive the Moderna vaccine. Individuals above 60 years of age are also encouraged to get the Moderna vaccine for protection. By the way, the Moderna vaccine, like the AstraZeneca, requires 2 doses to be fully effective. There are no easy ways around this pandemic. We have to meet it head on, and we are. Our frontline workers have been working tirelessly and selflessly in our hospitals, in our homes, officers in informal settlements to eradicate COVID-19, and our doctors, nurses, and medical administrators are providing critical leadership. Government has devoted all the resources at our disposal to support individuals and businesses who are suffering economically because of this pandemic. But we need to get to the permanent solution. Once we do, this virus will be like the many other diseases we have defeated through vaccines, like smallpox, polio, measles, and leprosy. Vaccines are the permanent solution, the proven solution. Tony, to you and your team at the embassy for being our advocate in Washington. And thanks again to President Biden for hearing the voices coming from the Pacific. Now let's go and get the jab for those of you who haven't got the jab. Thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Minister of Health, Permanent Secretary Karan, distinguished guests, my colleagues from U.S. Embassy, Bula, and good morning. The United States is so proud to partner with Fiji and the Fiji's Ministry of Health to respond to this ongoing COVID-19 crisis in Fiji. Strong partnership and collaboration, they're critical in our efforts to stop the spread of this horrible virus. Today, we are especially proud to donate 150,080 doses of the Moderna vaccine to Fiji. This donation, along with our donation of 30 U.S.-made ventilators last year and other medical equipment, demonstrates the United States-Fiji close partnership. We share these vaccines to save lives. That's what President Biden said. The United States has no other motive than to save lives, to bring an end to this pandemic that's devastated Fiji's economy and its way of life over the last year. The United States government, through the United States Agency for International Development, simply known as USAID, has provided $35 million in humanitarian support to the Pacific region since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. And this includes, just last week, a $1.5 million $1.5 million regional partnership with UNICEF, providing critical COVID-19 technical assistance support, supporting vaccine rollouts, delivery, post-delivery monitoring, and communications community engagement, including right here in Fiji. So we were so happy to officially launch this new USAID partnership last Thursday with the Minister of Health. Additionally, USAID plans further support to the COVID-19 response in Fiji through the American Rescue Plan Act. We will announce more details about this assistance in the coming weeks. And through the Department of Defense's overseas humanitarian, disaster and civic aid program, we also have supported Fiji through the donation of much-needed medical supplies, including 42 freezers, which are critical since Moderna is a cold chain vaccine, to assist with Fiji's life-saving vaccination efforts. The United States, President Biden believes equitable global access to safe and effective vaccines is essential to ending the COVID-19 pandemic, to save lives around the country, to around the world, to rebuild the global economy, and stop the threat of these new variants. We must vaccinate as many people as possible, as soon as possible, with high-quality vaccines. So we're so proud today to assist in this effort of these Moderna vaccines, and we're committed to continuing to work with the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, as well as the entire Fiji government, to stop the spread of COVID-19 here. So this announcement builds on the United States government's ongoing leadership on global vaccination efforts. As the world's largest donor to COVAX, the United States, through USAID, has contributed $2 billion to COVAX via the Gavi agency to date. We are proud to share these 150,080 doses with Fiji through the COVAX dose sharing mechanism, and hope that these doses, alongside other doses received through COVAX and from other partners, help overcome this current pandemic. Fiji's Ministry of Health has made heroic efforts to vaccinate as many Fijians as possible. Honorable Minister, you should be so proud of your team. Every day, those numbers go up significantly, those vaccinations, in spite of all the strain your system is under. Really, congratulations. So as of today, I think we're at least at 70% to getting the first jab. That is so impressive. So we encourage all Fijians to protect themselves, their families, and their communities by getting fully vaccinated. We are so proud to support Fiji through this outbreak, especially by sharing these vaccines. It takes cooperation from everyone to bring this difficult period to a swift conclusion. Prime Minister, once again, thank you. Your government's done a great job. Thank you. Vanaka, and thank you.